Back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're still with you on this morning's edition of The Breakfast Show, and as promised, a very interesting topic in store for you: how we will deal with the latest changes, how to deal with changes within yourself, within your society, within the political sphere. How to deal with changes and move forward is the topic for this morning's discussion. And joining us this morning in the studio for a more in-depth discussion is our guest, Mr. Hossein Fahmy, a human development expert. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Fahmy. Now, first off, it is no secret that we all feel that we're going through changes, and everybody feels that they need to have a change. Maybe at some time they need a summer break, a yearly break from work, and sometimes change is really thrust upon us due to the outer circumstances that, for instance, the country is going through.
Yeah.
Is this a healthy thing? That we're going through the change, even if it's a change that we're not really going through by choice.
Yeah. Regarding change, change is life, because life is all about change. There is no life if there is no change. So to deal with change is the issue, because some people have difficulty dealing with changes. Of course, if the change is a positive change, people would be happy and will deal with it in a normal way. But what if the change is something that you do not expect, or something that for you is something negative? This is a challenge, and this is what we face in career, in relationships, in country issues, politics. So change is a process, is something that we face and we have to deal with, even though we don't like sometimes.
Mr. Fahmy, I want to ask you, there's a saying that says change is the only constant. So change is a constant process. It is continuing all the time. How can people deal with changes that they don't necessarily anticipate? Some changes are anticipated, like, for example, you're moving from maybe from high school to university, from university to work. These are all anticipated. You're psychologically preparing for these changes. When you're shifting jobs or getting married or having a child, etc. However, some changes are not expected. Some of them are thrust upon you. Whether it is social changes, whether it is psychological changes. What is the best way to deal with an unexpected change?
Yes. This is a very good question, because many people face this issue. First of all, in order to deal with a change that is not expected, you have to step back and look at it as an observer and analyze the situation. What can you do with this change? How can you embrace this change? What is the positive side about this change? Be analytical, be observer, because when you are so much attached to the situation, you are so much involved with emotions. And so you're not thinking, you are emotional at this issue. So you have to be somehow rationalizing, use your cognitive abilities in order to assess the situation. We could do sometimes the SWOT analysis, with strengths and weaknesses, opportunities about this situation. What can we do? How can we embrace this change and move forward and take it onto our side? Because sometimes changes, if we take it and embrace it, we will win sometimes and take benefit from it. It could be an opportunity or a hidden opportunity, but you cannot see it because you are shocked with the sudden change. So successful people do that. When they feel, they are always prepared for changes. So when a change happens, their response somehow is professional, and they know how to deal with it. They embrace it very fast, they cope with it, and they have the flexibility to adapt to whatever happens.
Mr. Fahmy, what about people who are afraid of change? People who really dread the change coming their way. A lot of people, we all know that too much of the same thing, whatever it is, gets boring.
Yeah.
But some people are afraid of the change. They're afraid of the consequences of this change. You talk about preparing for change. How do you actually prepare for the change, and how do you mentally prepare yourself to embrace it, as you've mentioned?
Yeah. First of all, in order to prepare for a change, is have this expectation inside you that there will be a change. Because when you have this mindset that I'm happy with this and nothing will change, this is the problem. If you are not expecting that things will change, this is the problem, because this is the frame that makes the difference. Someone who is prepared for change, he's always expecting that there is a change. But people who get so much frustrated, they have the frame that things will not change, and I'm happy with this, and things will go like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are always prepared that somehow a change will happen, you are prepared, because your mindset, your frame of mind is thinking that a change must happen, and I'm expecting change. And they always say that the emotions is the difference between your expectations, your map of the world, your expectations, and the territory, or the world itself, the reality. So when you have so much expectation about something, and the reality does not meet this expectation, you have frustration. So lower your expectation, and you will not have this frustration. Do not expect so much. Do not expect that things will go like this forever. And the level of frustration and dis-ease will somehow be less.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Fahmy, now some people deal a bit differently with change.
Yeah.
For example, when a lot of changes occur at the same time, unexpectedly, they somehow seem to become apathetic. Yeah. To everything. So they just say, okay, well, I can't deal with all these changes. What am I going to do? And they just basically give up on the whole process. And, you know, there's this whole attitude of, well, what can I do anyway?
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of people reacting in that way?
Yes. Yesterday, actually, I had a case as a coach. I had a case, someone, she had suicidal thoughts. And the problem when I talked to her was that she cannot accept. She was in a relationship and a breakup happened, and the thing that she's not accepting what happened put her in awe with herself, and she's reflecting with negative thoughts always with herself in a spiral way, because this is how we think. A thought comes into your mind, and then you reflect back with this thought another negative thought, and then you go into a spiral downward thing that puts you in depression. And she started to have this suicidal thoughts because of what happened. So the first thing is to have acceptance. If you have this frame of acceptance that sometimes things could go wrong, and it's not your fault, something that happened out of your boundaries, out of your control. So the thing that I should do is to have acceptance and flexibility to adapt to this change, because this is life, always changing. Sometimes it's changing in a way that is positive for us, sometimes it's negative, but this is life. So I have to have this frame of acceptance. When I have this frame of acceptance, it gives me power. Why? Because I'm in ease. I'm not
resisting.
I'm not resisting. So when you are always resisting change, you're putting yourself in a situation that is not healthy for you.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Fahmy, now over the past year and a half, when the revolution started, it came with a lot of change, and a lot of the Egyptian people felt this sort of change. Now, we talk about accepting the change and embracing it as a way to deal with it. Yeah. But a lot of people feel sort of obliged to have a certain point of view or to oppose a different point of view or any of these things. So accepting this sort of change is not really on their agenda. How can these people, even though they are of a certain, they have a certain stand towards some of the change that's going on, some people like it, some people don't, how can they deal with it even though they are determined already and they are in the frame of mind of not accepting this change?
Yeah. Here comes another two frames, respect and flexibility. So I have to respect others' opinions when dealing with them, show your opinion in a respectful way, and be flexible. And also to listen. It's a way of communication with others. So I have this frame of acceptance layered with respect and flexibility. I can deal and manage many situations with many different personality types, because we always face different personality types in our work and relationships everywhere. So I have to have this flexibility to deal with different people who have different mindset, different attitude. People are not all the same. So expect that people are not the same. Expect that some people will have objections, will have counterpoint of view.
I want to ask, do men and women deal differently with change? Are women more able to accept change and men less able, for example?
I would say that women tend to be more emotional and men are more rational. But this could be adapted also. Women, they tend to be emotional because this is the nature as females. So when you have so much emotions in something, this is the danger, because you are so much you're not rationalizing the situation in terms of what's good, what's bad. No, you are emotionalizing the situation in terms of this is negative. This is I'm so much angry. I'm frustrated, and so it's not good. This is a difference as opposed to men and women.
Right.
Mr. Fahmy, it seems that really accepting the sort of change that involves emotions is probably the most difficult. But sometimes a lot of people, even though they know, for instance, the loss of someone close, some people know that there is a chance that they could lose that person in case that person is sick or ill in the hospital or whatever. However, it still hurts, and some people really can't get over it as soon as they wish to be.
Yeah, I would say that this is okay. Give yourself time to grieve. It's okay. As a human, you need this time, because it's a human feeling. It's okay to feel grief for a loss of someone. We all face this. So it's okay to feel this. Give yourself some time and experience this. And get the support of your friends, your family members, a colleague. Some people would need some counseling or coaching. This is natural. We all face this. But what is very important is to have the frame of acceptance. Accept that there's always a change, and nobody will last, because life is all about change.
Indeed, change is the only constant in life.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Hussein Fahmy, Human Development Expert. It's a pleasure to have you with us on The Breakfast Show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we take you to another feature we have prepared for you this morning. Medicine in ancient Egypt was the profession of doctors, but was mostly practiced inside temples where priests could organize treatment and supply people in need of medical care. Let's visit one of these ancient hospitals with Dina Yunus, and we'll be right back. To stay tuned.
Dendera Temple is situated 60 kilometers north to Luxor, on the west bank of the Nile. Its original name in the ancient Egyptian language was Ta Netret, which means